Spring in New Orleans has a way of making the air feel thick with promise. The kind of promise you can almost taste. Sweet, warm, humming with brass band energy that floats out of the French Quarter like confetti in slow motion. I used to love that feeling. I used to think it meant my life was finally taking shape, especially with my wedding only 9 days away. My name is Tamsin Ridley, 29 years old, graphic designer by trade, hopeless romantic by nature. And until last Tuesday, I believed the hardest part of wedding planning was choosing between ivory and pearl. Turns out, the hardest part was trusting the wrong person. Her name was Marcella Duval, my seamstress, and someone I thought was my friend. We'd known each other since college, bonded over fashion, wine nights, and heartbreak stories. When I got engaged, she insisted on designing my gown herself, calling it her labor of love. I believed her. I wanted to. That morning, I pushed open the door to her boutique, a narrow shop on Magazine Street that always smelled like lavender, steam, and silk thread. "Marcella," I called. "I'm here for the final fitting." Silence at first. Then her voice floated from the back room. "Coming. Just a sec." Something felt off. A prickle at the back of my neck. It wasn't the shop. That looked the same. Mannequins posed like elegant ghosts, fabric rolls tucked in every corner, sketches taped to the walls. But I noticed the garment rack with my dress wasn't in its usual place. "Where's my gown?" I asked casually. But my voice trembled slightly. Marcella stepped out with a too bright smile. "Moved it to better lighting. You'll love it." Except I didn't. Because the moment she pulled back the plastic cover, my heart stopped. The dress was wrong. The bodice was the same style, but the embroidery was dulled, smudged, uneven. The beading looked cheap, like it had been reapplied by someone rushing or someone careless. A faint tear ran near the hem, something she tried to hide by smoothing the fabric too quickly. I stared at it, my breath thinning. "Marcella, what is this?" She blinked, pretending confusion. "Your gown." "What do you mean?" "No," I whispered. "This isn't my gown. The silk texture is different. The embroidery pattern doesn't match the sketch. And the original had hand-beaded crystals on the waistline, not glass." Marcella crossed her arms. "Tamsin, sweetie, you're just stressed. This is the same dress. I've worked on it non-stop." Her words hit like needles, small, sharp, dismissive. I touched the fabric, coarse, stiff, nothing like the smooth, luminous material I had chosen months ago. My fingertips shook. "I know what I picked. I know how it felt." My voice cracked. "Why does it look damaged?" She exhaled dramatically. "You probably didn't take care of it when you tried it on last time." I took a step back. "I haven't tried it on since you told me it wasn't ready." A flicker of panic flashed in her eyes. So fast I might have missed it if I weren't already unraveling. "Look," she said, "if you're unhappy, I can try to fix it. But wedding season is insane. I'm doing you a favor squeezing you in at all." Favor. The word tasted bitter. My chest tightened, a sinking heaviness forming in my stomach. Was I losing my mind? Was I imagining the differences? But no, my memory was too sharp, too emotional. I had cried the first time I saw the original gown because it felt like stepping into the version of myself I always wanted to be. This dress felt like a knockoff of my dream. I lifted the hem again, letting the harsh fluorescent light reveal the tear. "Explain this, Marcella." She shrugged. "Fabric flaw? You must have snagged it when you tried it on." A lie, and a terrible one. Something inside me cracked quietly, like the soft snap of thread coming loose. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. Not yet. But I felt a cold, creeping certainty spreading through my chest like ice. She was lying. And she wasn't just lying, she had swapped my dress. I swallowed hard, forcing my voice steady. I want the original gown, the one I approved, the one you said was nearly finished. Something flickered behind her expression again. Guilt? Fear? Then she crossed her arms tightly. Tamsin, this is the gown. If you don't trust me, I don't know what to tell you. My pulse hammered. My vision blurred at the edges. My heart felt like it was folding in on itself. How could you do this to me? I whispered. Her jaw tightened. Her eyes hardened just slightly. Maybe you should calm down before you accuse me of something ridiculous. Ridiculous. Betrayal always sounds ridiculous until the truth becomes undeniable. I walked out of her boutique in a daze, the humid New Orleans air hitting me like a wet blanket. I could feel tears slipping down my cheeks, mixing with the heaviness in the air. Strangers passed me on the sidewalk, unaware that my world felt like it had just tilted off its axis. Why would she switch my dress? Did she sell the original? Was she jealous? Did she think I wouldn't notice? The emotional blow landed deeper than I expected. This wasn't just fabric. This was my identity, my vision, my milestone, my moment. And someone I trusted had stolen it from me. By the time I reached my car, my anger had started to burn through the shock. My hands trembled as I unlocked the door. But another feeling simmered underneath. Determination. If she swapped my dress, there had to be a reason. There had to be a trail. People don't destroy something beautiful unless they profit from it. I opened my phone, ready to check every resale site, every boutique group, every listing I could find. And then my breath caught. Because right there, under a new listing posted only 2 hours ago, was a gown that looked exactly like mine. The real one. My heart pounded against my ribs. The seller's username? Marcy Designs 88. Marcella. I stared at the screen as a slow, fierce fire ignited in my chest. Oh, you messed with the wrong bride, I whispered. And just as I clicked the listing, my phone suddenly flashed a notification. Item has been reserved. Only 5 minutes to complete purchase. Someone else was trying to buy it. My heart stopped. I hit the button. Purchase confirmation failed. Item no longer available. My stomach dropped. If someone else had bought my dress, it might already be gone forever. Unless I caught them first. The moment the purchase failed, my entire body went cold, like someone had poured ice water straight into my veins. I sat frozen in the driver's seat, staring at the bright red, item unavailable notification pulsing on my phone. My dress, my real dress, was slipping further out of reach with every passing second. But shock is a funny thing. It hits you fast, stuns you, and then something more primal takes over. In my case, pure calculated determination. I swiped down the listing again, examining every detail. Seller name, posting time, photo angles. Marcella was sloppy. She photographed the dress in the same back room of her boutique. Same curtains, same grey tiled floor. Same mannequin, with the chipped left wrist she always meant to replace. That was all the confirmation I needed. She had stolen my dress and sold it, or was still trying to sell it. Before the fear could fully swallow me, another thought crept in. If someone bought it, there had to be a buyer account, a message, a lead, something. I exhaled shakily and clicked the contact seller button. Not that I expected her to answer. But the resale platform generated an automatic history window showing recent interactions. And that's where I saw it. A username, Crescent City Vintage. Status, attempting to negotiate price. A negotiation meant time. Time meant possibility. I whispered, okay, there's still a chance. I did what any frantic bride with a stolen gown and a bruised heart would do. I created a burner account, something generic. Bride on a budget 24. Then I messaged the potential buyer. Hey, I saw you negotiating for the dress. I'm super interested too. Did the seller confirm a meetup or shipping time with you yet? No response. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I stared at the screen so long my eyes felt dry and raw. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, but was maybe only 3 minutes, my phone buzzed. Buyer, why do you want to know? My pulse spiked. I typed back, because I think the dress isn't the seller's to sell. I need to know if she arranged anything with you. The typing dots appeared, disappeared, returned. Then the reply, buyer. She said she could meet tonight, but IDK, something felt off. Tonight? Tonight? My stomach tightened. If Marcella was meeting them tonight, she was desperate, which meant she was scared of being caught. The buyer continued. Buyer, are you saying it's stolen? I hesitated, then typed the truth. Well, half the truth. It's mine. She swapped it with a damaged dress and listed the real one here. Please don't meet her yet. I need to get it back. Another pause, then, buyer. Wow, that's messed up. I don't want trouble. If you need the address she gave me, I can share it. My breath hitched. Yes, please. A second later, they sent it. An address in the Bywater district. A quiet, artsy neighborhood about 20 minutes away. Not Marcella's boutique. Not her home. A neutral location. Perfect for hiding a shady deal. Something inside me hardened. This wasn't just about the gown anymore. It was about trust, about betrayal, about someone taking something precious from me and assuming I'd crumble quietly. No, not this time. I started the engine, and the car rumbled to life beneath me. As I drove toward Bywater, the thoughts in my head twisted into a storm. Why would she do this? Was she jealous? Broke? Angry at me? How long had she planned this? The streets blurred past. Colourful shotgun houses, murals splashed across brick walls, couples walking hand in hand. New Orleans moved with its usual rhythm, unaware that my entire world felt tilted and raw. Halfway there, my fiancé Rowan called. I let it ring once, twice, then answered. Hey babe, you okay? You left your texts on read. His voice was comforting, warm, steady, grounding. But I didn't want him to worry, not yet. Yeah, I lied softly. Just running errands. Everything all right? You sound tense. I hesitated. I wanted to tell him everything, to let him hold the messy truth. But Rowan was in the middle of a crazy week at work. I didn't want my nightmare spilling into his. I'm fine, I said, forcing a smile into my voice. I'll see you tonight, okay? Okay, I love you. I swallowed. Love you too. When I hung up, the silence inside the car felt heavier. Do I tell him later? Do I handle this alone? Another question bubbled up, one I'd been avoiding. Why didn't Marcella just say no when I asked her to make the dress? Why betray me like this? Why now? The betrayal cut deeper because it came from someone I once trusted with vulnerable parts of myself. My insecurities, my excitement, my dreams for the wedding. Now she was selling pieces of that dream to the highest bidder. By the time I pulled into the Bywater side street, evening light had begun to settle over the rooftops. The sky was streaked with soft gold and lavender. Beautiful, if my heart weren't pounding so hard. The address led to a small double shotgun house with peeling turquoise paint. Quiet. Empty. Too quiet. I parked half a block away and walked toward it, each step echoing in my chest. I peered through the broken slats of the fence. No movement. No voices. No signs of Marcella or the supposed buyer meet-up. Then, a noise, soft, metal clinking. I moved closer, heart hammering. Through the slightly open side window, I saw movement, a shadow. Then, fabric, white, flowing, familiar. My breath caught in my throat. I leaned in, eyes widening. There, inside the dimly lit room, was my wedding dress, the real one, hanging from a hook. Pristine, untouched, beautiful. But I wasn't alone, because as I stared, frozen, a voice whispered behind me, "Looking for something, Tamsin?" My blood turned to ice. I turned around slowly, and saw Marcella standing just a few feet away, smiling, but not the friendly smile I knew. A colder one, calculated, sharp. And she was holding something behind her back. I froze. Marcella's silhouette blocked the narrow path between me and the street. Sunset cast her in a strange half-shadow. Her face lit warm gold, while her eyes remained cold, unreadable. The humidity clung to my skin, but a different kind of chill crept beneath it. She tilted her head, the same way she used to when deciding whether a fabric needed more pleating. Except now, she was deciding something else, something about me. "I asked you a question," she said softly. "Looking for something?" I swallowed. My throat felt tight, dry. I I just want my dress back, Marcella." Her smile sharpened. "Your dress? You mean that?" She nodded toward the window behind me, where my real wedding gown hung like a ghost suspended in time. Gorgeous, untouched, mine, and yet somehow, now the most dangerous object in the room. "What are you doing?" I whispered. Marcella clicked her tongue. "Funny. I could ask you the same." She finally pulled her right hand from behind her back. Thankfully, not a weapon, but almost worse. A pair of dressmaking shears, gleaming, heavy, razor-sharp. Her favorite pair. The gold-handled ones she always bragged about. Seeing them sent a cold shock down my spine. "Relax," she said dismissively. "I just didn't want to leave them inside. Thieves, you know." I stared at her. "Marcella, you are the thief." For a moment, just a moment, her expression flickered. Something broke through. Frustration? Desperation? Shame? But it vanished as quickly as it appeared, swallowed by something colder. "You don't understand what you're talking about." She stepped closer. I instinctively stepped back. "You have no idea how exhausting it's been trying to help you." "Help me?" My voice cracked in disbelief. "You switched my gown." She sighed dramatically. "I upgraded it. The original wasn't working. You were too indecisive, too emotional, too—" "Too what?" I shot back. "Too trusting." Her jaw tightened. "I put weeks into that gown," she snapped. "And you just nitpicked everything. I deserved compensation for my time." Compensation? For stealing my dress? I was shaking, with fear, with anger. Mostly anger. "That dress was mine," I whispered. "You knew how much it meant to me." Marcella rolled her eyes. "Wedding dresses don't mean anything, Tamsin. They're fabric, thread, labor. People like you turn them into some symbol of purity and fantasy. It's pathetic, honestly." Her words sliced deeper than the shears she held. I felt something inside me harden, something I didn't recognize. A stillness, a clarity. "You were supposed to be my friend," I said softly. Her lips pressed into a thin line. "I was, until everything became about your perfect little wedding." Something clicked painfully into place. This wasn't about money. Not fully. This was jealousy. Old, bitter, festering jealousy I never saw. I stepped sideways, slowly positioning myself between her and the window. My dress still hung behind me, my anchor. "Marcella, I'm taking my gown back." She laughed, a short, sharp sound. "You think you can just walk away with it?" "It's mine," I repeated. "Well," she said, shrugging one shoulder. "That's the thing about property disputes, right? Hard to prove ownership when the receipts are missing." My breath caught. "You deleted the transaction records." Not a question. A realization. Marcella didn't deny it. She only smirked. My hands curled into fists. "You're not going to get away with this." "Oh, sweetheart," she said sweetly, mockingly. "I already did." She lifted the shears slightly, the blade catching the last bit of daylight. "Unless you want to escalate things." My pulse thundered. This was spiraling too fast. I needed to think. I needed to get to the dress. I needed to get out before this turned dangerous. I forced my voice to steady. "Marcella, Look at yourself. You're threatening me. With scissors. She shrugged. I prefer the word deterrent. You stole my dress. I pressed. You listed it for sale. You arranged a meet-up tonight. Someone else already confirmed it to me. I have the messages. Her eyes narrowed, the first crack in her confidence. Who? It doesn't matter. She stepped closer. It does if they think they're getting my work. My stomach twisted. The delusion. The entitlement. You don't own my dress, I said firmly. Marcella leaned in, her voice low. Yes, I do. The moment you insulted my work. I never insulted it. You doubted it? Her eyes blazed. And that's worse. I took another step back and felt my heel bump the window ledge. My dress rustled softly behind me. Marcella noticed. Her gaze flicked past me to the gown, and her grip on the shears tightened. No, I whispered. Don't. She raised her chin. If I can't sell it, then no one gets it. And she lunged, not at me, but toward the window, toward the dress. Adrenaline exploded through my body. Without thinking, I grabbed the window frame and shoved myself through the opening, stumbling into the dim room inside. Dust rose around me. The floor creaked. My eyes darted to the gown, still intact, still hanging. But behind me, I heard her climbing through the window, too. Tamsin! She barked. Get away from it! I grabbed the gown off the hook, clutching it to my chest. She dropped into the room, shears flashing in her hand. And then, bang! A loud knock at the front door. Both of us froze. A man's voice called out, Marcella Duval. This is the Crescent City Resale Fraud Division. We need to ask you a few questions about an online listing you posted. My heart stopped. The buyer. They must have reported her. Marcella's eyes widened. Panic, real panic, finally breaking through. But then her gaze snapped back to me, and her expression changed. Hard, cold, dangerous. Tamsin, she hissed, stepping closer. Don't you dare! For a split second, the room felt silent, thick, dense, suffocating. The investigator's knock echoed again from the front door, a heavy pounding that vibrated through the thin walls of the Bywater house. Marcella's gaze locked onto mine. Wild, cornered, dangerous. Tamsin? She repeated, her voice lower now, almost a growl. Give me the dress. You don't understand what you're about to ruin. My heartbeat drummed against my ribs. I'm not ruining anything, I whispered. I'm taking back what's mine. She took a step toward me, then another. I instinctively backed away until my spine pressed into the far wall. You're blowing this way out of proportion, she hissed. This didn't have to get messy. Oh, it got messy when you stole from me. Her jaw clenched so tightly, the muscles twitched. On the other side of the house, a deeper voice joined the knock. Ms. Duval, we need you to come to the door. Now. Marcella flinched. Just slightly. Then her eyes flicked to the window, our only escape point, and back to me, calculating. Tamsin, she said again, softer now, coaxing. If you walk out of here with that dress, you're going to destroy everything I built. My business, my reputation, my life. I swallowed hard. Why did you do it then? Why steal it? Why betray me? She blinked, and for the first time since the confrontation began, her expression cracked. Because I knew you'd outgrow me. Her voice shook. You're getting married, moving on, having your perfect future. And I'm just stuck, sewing dresses for brides who won't remember my name. My breath caught. So you punished me for that. Her face hardened instantly. No, I took what I deserved. Another thunderous knock sounded. Ms. Duval, open the door immediately or we'll enter. Marcella panicked. I saw it, raw, frantic fear flickering across her face. She lunged toward me with sudden force, grabbing for the dress. But adrenaline surged through me like electricity. I twisted away, clutching the gown tighter, feeling the satin slide but not slip from my grip. Stop! She shrieked. I didn't. I bolted back toward the window, hauling the heavy fabric with me. Marcella's fingers grazed the back of my arm, her nails scraping my skin as I climbed halfway through the frame. Tamsin! She screamed again, her voice breaking. And then, the front door burst open with a crash. Two investigators stepped inside, flashlights slicing through the dimness. Police investigation! Step away from her! Marcella spun around, startled. Her shears clattered to the floor. I didn't wait. With my heart slamming against my ribs, I shoved myself fully through the window and stumbled onto the soft grass outside. My knees hit the ground hard, but I didn't let go of the dress. I pulled myself up and ran as if the entire weight of betrayal was chasing me. As I sprinted toward the street, I heard shouting behind me, investigators yelling orders, Marcella sobbing or screaming or both. I couldn't tell. I didn't look back. I only clutched the gown to my chest, my breath ragged, tears burning my eyes. When I reached the car, I threw the dress carefully into the back seat and slammed the door. My hands shook violently as I fumbled with the keys. Come on, I whispered. Come on, come on. The engine roared to life. I pulled away from the curb just as two police vehicles arrived, their lights flashing red and blue across the quiet street. Finally, I let myself breathe, but the relief didn't come. Not fully. A text notification buzzed on my phone. It was Rowan. Hey, love, you okay? You still sounded stressed earlier. Just checking in. My vision blurred. A wave of exhaustion washed over me. I typed back with trembling hands. I'm okay. I'll explain later. Just a lot happened. He replied instantly. I'm here if you need me. Always. I swallowed the lump in my throat. Always. A word Marcella once used. But Rowan meant it. I drove home as dusk settled into night, the edges of the sky fading from pink to deep indigo. Street lamps reflected on rain-soaked pavement, though it hadn't rained. Maybe my own panic made everything look wet. When I finally walked into my apartment, dress in hand, everything looked the same as when I left it. But I didn't feel the same. Something in me had shifted, hardened, awakened. This wasn't over, because as I carefully unzipped the garment bag to inspect the gown under actual light, something horrifying happened. A small plastic tag slipped out from between the layers of satin. I picked it up. A tracking tag. Not from the resale site. Not from any boutique. Marcella had planted it. My breath froze. She was tracking where the dress went. She knew exactly where I lived. And she wasn't done. And then my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. You shouldn't have taken what wasn't yours. My blood ran cold. Then another message. You think this is finished? It's just beginning. The moment I read the second message, it's just beginning, my entire body went still. Not trembling, not panicking, just still. Like my mind needed a second to decide whether to feel fear or fury. I lowered the phone slowly, staring at the glowing screen as if the words might rearrange themselves into something less threatening. But they didn't. The room felt too quiet, too dark. Even the hum of my refrigerator sounded ominous. I swallowed hard. No, I whispered to myself. No, she doesn't get to do this. Not again. But a cold truth slid in behind the anger. Marcella knew where I lived. The tracking tag glinted dully in my palm, small, harmless-looking, designed to be easily hidden between layers of satin. A perfect tool for someone who wanted control. My stomach twisted. What if she was already nearby? What if she was outside? What if she was watching? The thought punched air out of my lungs. I moved instinctively, closing the blinds, locking the deadbolt, checking the peephole twice. My apartment suddenly felt too fragile, too exposed. Every shadow felt like it could be her. My phone buzzed again. This time, a call from Rowan. I froze. My instinct said, tell him everything. But another part of me, the part still raw from betrayal, whispered, Handle it yourself first. Don't drag him into danger, I answered, forcing my voice steady. Hey, you sound off, Rowan said gently. What happened? I hesitated, teeth pressing into my lower lip. Should I tell him? Should I lie? Should I confess the part where I nearly got stabbed by gold-handled scissors? I had a problem with Marcella, I finally said. She crossed a line, a big one, and I had to take care of it. That doesn't sound minor, Rowan said. Do I need to come over? The apartment felt too quiet again. No, I said quickly. I'll be okay. I just need time to process everything. Another pause. Rowan exhaled, worry thick in his voice. All right. But if anything feels unsafe, you call me. Right away. I will, I whispered. And I meant it. Or I wanted to mean it. When I hung up, the silence returned, thicker now. I looked at the dress lying across my couch. Beautiful. Luminous. Fragile in all the wrong ways. I ran my fingers across the silky fabric, feeling gratitude and resentment all at once. This dress had become more than a symbol. It was leverage. It was evidence. It was the thing Marcella wanted enough to sabotage me, and enough to threaten me over. And now I had proof she'd been tracking it. I grabbed my laptop, powered it on, and placed the tracking tag beside me. If Marcella planted this, she had to be using some kind of commercial tracking app. Something basic. Something traceable. I opened the tag's back panel, tiny but not impossible, and sure enough, a manufacturer code was printed inside. I typed it into a search bar. The results popped up immediately. A cheap tracking device, used for luggage, pets, and in darker corners of the internet, stalking. My pulse quickened. I clicked into the associated app. It wasn't password protected beyond the tag ID, and that ID was printed right on the device. I entered it. A map loaded. A blinking blue dot marked my apartment's location. But then another dot began to move. Slow, steady, just 2 blocks away. My blood ran ice cold. Marcella. She was coming here. For the first time since this ordeal began, fear outweighed anger. I grabbed my phone, ready to call Rowan, ready to call 911, but stopped. What would I say? My friend turned seamstress criminal is stalking me over a wedding dress. It sounded crazy. It was crazy. But the map didn't lie. The dot moved again. 1 block away. I rushed into my bedroom, searching my closet for anything resembling protection. Pepper spray, empty. Umbrella, useless. Heavy perfume bottle, good enough. I grabbed it. Then I grabbed the dress. I didn't know why. Instinct, maybe. Or maybe because I refused to leave it behind for her to reclaim like some prize. Knock, knock, knock. The sound echoed through my apartment like a gunshot. No doorbell, just knocking. Slow, deliberate. My heart climbed into my throat. I stepped forward as quietly as I could and peered through the peephole. A figure stood there, dark hair, a hoodie, head lowered. Marcella. I stumbled back, hand flying to my mouth to muffle a gasp. Knock, knock, knock. Tamsin! Her voice called through the door. Calm, too calm. Open up. We need to talk. Talk. Now she wanted to talk? I backed away, shaking my head though she couldn't see me. Her voice sharpened. I know you're in there. I tracked the dress. Another blow to my gut. I just want what's mine. What's yours? I shouted back before I could stop myself. Silence. Then softly, dangerously. Tamsin, if you make me force this, I swear you're going to regret it. My knees nearly buckled. No more fear. I lifted my phone and dialed 911, but before the call connected, a sudden, thunderous pounding shook the entire door. She was trying to break in. I stumbled backward, clutching the dress to my chest as my phone slipped from my hand and clattered to the floor. The pounding grew louder, harder, more desperate. Then a voice shouted from the hallway. Hey, who are you? Back away from that door! Everything froze. Footsteps, a scuffle, someone yelling, then silence. I crouched down slowly, trembling, reaching for my phone. When a soft knock tapped the door again, a different voice spoke this time. Deep, steady. "Miss Ridley, this is building security. We need you to open the door." But something inside me whispered, what if Marcella got to them first? What if this isn't security at all? My hand hovered near the lock, caught between fear and fury, unsure which side would win. My fingers hovered over the deadbolt, just inches away from unlocking the door, just inches away from possibly letting danger walk straight into my apartment. The man's voice came again, steady, professional, but muffled through the wood. "Miss Ridley, it's building security. We need to make sure you're safe." Safe. The word twisted inside my chest. I leaned closer to the peephole, breath tight. A man stood outside, mid-40s, uniform, badge clipped to his belt. Not Marcella's height, build, or posture. He had short-cropped hair, a tired expression, and a flashlight in hand. But paranoia whispered, costumes can be faked. Badges can be copied. Marcella is unpredictable. My voice trembled despite my effort to steady it. "Can you show your ID to the peephole?" The man nodded immediately, lifting a laminated card. I squinted. Yes, it matched the building's security design. The logo, the hologram, the signature. Real. My shoulders sagged with a mixture of relief and exhaustion. I unlocked the door, but left the chain on, and opened it only a few inches. "Are you really security?" I asked. "Yes, ma'am." His tone was sympathetic but alert. "Several tenants reported shouting in the hallway, and we saw someone attempting to force your door." "Marcella." I swallowed. "Where is she now?" "She ran down the stairwell, but we think she exited through the side door before we could reach her." He paused. "Do you know her?" I exhaled shakily. "Yes, too well." His brows pulled together, concerned. "Would you like us to call the police?" I almost said yes instantly, but hesitation crept in. Marcella already had 2 investigators looking into her resale fraud. The police arriving tonight could escalate everything. I didn't know what story she would spin, what lies she'd throw, how she'd twist the narrative to make me look unstable or hysterical. A part of me wasn't ready. Not yet. A part of me needed control, needed to gather everything before the storm hit. I need a moment to think about that," I said quietly. He nodded. "Understandable. I'll file an incident report regardless, for your protection. If she returns or threatens you again, call us immediately." I thanked him, relocked the door, and listened until his footsteps faded down the hall. Then silence. A heavy, suffocating silence. I leaned back against the door, sliding down until I sat on the floor, knees pulled to my chest. The dress lay beside me like another living being, silent, fragile, wrapped in the shadows of my living room. My phone buzzed. A text from Rowan. "Heading home early. Want me to bring dinner?" A moment of normalcy. A moment that felt like a warm hand reaching into a storm. I typed back. "Yes, thank you. I could really use that." But I didn't tell him why. Not yet. Because how do you explain something like this? How do you say, "My former friend tried to break into my apartment because I reclaimed the dress she stole from me and is possibly spiraling into criminal behavior"? The truth sounded insane even in my own mind. I forced myself to get up, place the dress safely in my closet, then set the tracking device into a small evidence bag I found from an old filing box. If this ever went to the police, I wanted nothing contaminated. But the moment I sealed the bag, a memory hit me. Hard, unexpected, gut-twisting. The last time Marcella and I laughed together, we were sitting in her boutique, surrounded by scraps of lace. She had suddenly turned to me and said, "You know, Tam, I can't imagine what my life would look like if you weren't in it." At the time, I thought she meant it warmly. Now it curdled in my stomach. She meant it, just not in the way I understood. Deep in my chest, something ached, something grieving the friendship I thought we had, the woman I believed she was. I whispered into the quiet room, "Why did you do this to me?" No answer. just the low hum of the hallway light through the door. I needed clarity, answers, something that made sense of all this chaos. So I went to my laptop, opened my messages, pulled up the resale site. The buyer who tipped me off, Crescent City Vintage. I typed, "Thank you again for helping me earlier. Something really serious happened tonight. Would you be willing to share any screenshots Marcella sent you?" Anything helps. A minute passed, then two. Finally, a response came. "Absolutely." She sent me photos, voice messages, even directions. "I can forward everything. You okay?" I typed back, "Not really, but I'm working on it." The files came through, dozens of them, photos. Marcella took of my gown from angles I'd never seen, voice notes explaining why she needed this sale, a screen recording where she lowered the price twice in desperation, a message saying, "The bride doesn't deserve it. I made this dress. It's mine to sell." Something sharp twisted in my chest. Then, one last message appeared. From the buyer. By the way, she mentioned having someone who'd take care of things if the buyer backed out. Not sure what that meant, but it sounded threatening. My blood chilled. Someone else? Was Marcella working alone? Or had she dragged someone deeper into this? Before I could spiral further, a knock sounded at my door. Not violent, not frantic, just normal. I hurried to the peephole. Rowan. Relief washed over me so suddenly my knees weakened. I let him in instantly. He carried takeout bags and a worried expression. The moment he saw my face, he set everything down and wrapped his arms around me. "Tam, what happened?" His warmth almost broke me open. Tears stung behind my eyes. But before I could speak, my phone buzzed again. A new message from the unknown number. "You brought someone else into this?" "Not smart, Tamsin." My heart stopped. Rowan noticed the look on my face. "Tamsin? What is it?" I slowly turned the screen toward him. The typing bubbles appeared again. A final message. "I warned you. Now you've made it worse. Check your hallway camera. Right. Now." My breath vanished. Rowan grabbed my hand. Together, we opened the hallway camera feed and saw a figure standing just outside our door again. Not Marcella. Someone bigger, unknown, waiting.